Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. It has been a while since the last video. In this video I want to show you why there are 3 ways of introducing variables in JavaScript. Let's have a look. I created a small piece of JavaScript code that helps to illustrate the problem. In this code we have a for loop that goes from I is 0 to exclusive 10. Now, what we do in each iteration is we create a button, we assign a label to it that we can distinguish the buttons, then we assign an event listener for the click event. Now in this event listener we will just raise an alert using the iterator variable. Now this variable was introduced using var, and var is the classic way of introducing variables in JavaScript. Unfortunately, it comes with some drawbacks. So we would need to know here that var actually reaches out to the outer scope, which means it is also available outside of the for loop here. And that means that the capturing of this iterator variable has an effect that, well, is maybe not really wanted. Because if I would now ask the question, what happens if I press 0, most people would potentially respond with, well, 0 is shown as an alert. However, that's not true. Clicking 0 results in 10. Clicking 5 results in 10. Clicking 9 results in 10. How can that be? I mean, well, the solution is that var introduces a function scoped variable, which means it doesn't run out of scope here, and therefore capturing it captures a value that's essentially always changing, and therefore the alert just shows the last value we gave it. And to illustrate that even more, we can just say, hey, let's just set it to 15 afterwards. And we'll see it's now 15, even though it was introduced here with 0 and it just counted up. So that's kind of a timing thing here. If we would have, let's say, clicked the button right after the first iteration, we would have just seen potentially the right value, but we didn't. Now, in order to solve this, we can do various things. For instance, we can introduce let. And what let does is actually a hint how we could have solved it just using var. We can have a look here in TypeScript what it does. It actually will transform this into a function, and then it will pass in the iterator as a parameter. This way we have the copy by value and we are essentially good to go, right? Because we preserve now this I. It's still captured in here, but it captures to the parameter, and the parameter of course is function scoped. So this already is bound to the lifetime of the function, and we are all good, because we decouple here this I from the I that's used inside of the function, and we are good. It's all great. So that's what let brings to the table implicitly. With let, we wouldn't see the I outside here, and actually setting it here would be an error. We don't see this error, but we still get the right behavior. So there is no conflict because let introduces a scope that is bound to block statements too, whereas the var introduced a variable in the function scope. Now there is also a third construct, which is const, and const is essentially like let. There is only one difference, and that is that variable introduced via const cannot be reassigned. Note reassigned. It has nothing to do with immutable. So if you introduce, let's say, an object as a const, well, that doesn't change any semantics of the object. So I can still just, add properties or change them. It has no impact there whatsoever. The only thing that's prevented is well, reassigning it. So now I reassign it to a new object. Well, that is obviously an error. And if I would run this, then the for loop would not even execute because this now breaks here. So const introduces this notion of not being able to be reassigned. And I think that's a very important part. I always strive to have only const introduced variables, because this way I am quite sure when reading the code there is not something that overrides it without me knowing. Still, of course, it's not immutable. So if you want to be more, let's say, functional in your development areas, well, either be really disciplined or look out for some of these immutable libraries, which are quite well done these days. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye.